last time I recorded this, I was like, yeah, I really got to get around to making that weight loss video.
Yeah.
I've been taking notes for like a year of like, oh, I got to make sure I say this. I got to make sure I say that. And over time, it was starting to become intimidating to make it because I was like, I don't really know that I can weave a coherent story. And there's like a lot of considerations in making it. Like, okay, how do you show enough vulnerability about the thing and not be self-aggrandizing about the accomplishment, make it accessible to maybe new viewers if somebody stumbles upon it, because people would probably find like, oh, I lost a bunch of weight during COVID. And then I'm like, okay, well, it's got to be comprehensive. It should really be scripted. And if it's going to be scripted, then, and I'm going to be on camera during a lot of it, then I'm going to need like a teleprompter because I can't possibly memorize that much dialogue. And there's even questions of like, okay, well, it's about my body, so I should probably show my body on camera to some degree, but it'd be weird to have like a full body shot the whole time. So it's like, okay, so it's a medium shot. And so, it is all those little things go into the presentation, but I kind of also knew like, all right, once you have a script, which I think last time we talked, I had a script, then, and by the way, almost every day I was like, oh, and that too. And I like had to keep going back to the script and adding more stuff in.
Of course.
But I kind of knew, the trick was like, just go shoot it, just get that on, get the narration part on down, and everything will happen quickly from that point on, because then I won't be able to resist kind of editing it up. So I had never done the teleprompter thing before ever, and it took about an hour to record the half hour, and it was not a perfect experience. It was I mean, because I was using a longer lens. I don't know exactly what the distance on it is, but it's the portrait lens that we have for the GH4.
So, the 45 millimeters. It's 45. It's about on a full frame camera that'd be around 90 millimeter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that means that like for that medium shot, it's like probably 10 feet of distance or something like that. And so that means that the camera is 10 feet away. And for those who don't know, the way that teleprompters have worked since 1964 is before that they would actually, I was looking into it. They would have little like actual scrolling paper next to the camera for people and stuff like it. And then they had teleprompters that were, I think they were analog television, but they were off to the side and stuff. But in 64 they invented the auto cue, which is this concept of having glass in front of the lens and you mirror the text onto the reflection of the glass, and then you read that. So there's like an iPhone app that does that, and I just dumped a Google Doc into it. And it comes with a little Bluetooth remote. So when you're watching me in the video, I have a little Bluetooth remote in my pocket, and I'm having to like, because my speed of reading it, especially because you're trying to perform it extemporaneously so that it comes off naturally and sincere, I'm like stopping the scroll and then catching up with myself. And it was just kind of a mess. It was really hard to do, but most of all, because it was far away, not that huge. And I had the light shining on me. And if you're trying to read, like straining to read while there's bright light in your face, you're going to have a headache for the rest of the day when you're done. And I have pretty good eyesight too, and I'm not really that susceptible to headaches, but I was like wrecked afterwards, but I just powered through it. There's a few times when I was like, I have to stop. Like I'll come back later, but I was like, if you come back later, you're going to look different. Not to mention
I always have that.
Yeah.
I actually got I got the same brand as you, a teleprompter, but I got a bigger one. So it'll be easier to read.
Not to mention I was doing the audio recording by myself with our normal thing. And I was using an iPad for the remote shooting and operation, and which was great, but it was hard. It was tough to balance everything, but I think it actually came out good. I think it looks good. I don't think it has that teleprompter look to it. There were some times where I looked like that, but I tried to edit those out or mask them with other footage. So the video
looked good.
Well, that's good. Coming from you, that because you more than most were like, I don't like the teleprompter look, you know.
Well, some people you can really see their eyes hunt around,
Yeah,
but it,
yeah.
it but they usually don't have the tricks that you do to cover the cover things, and
Yeah,
you're
true.
probably aware.
And the focal distance, I think, might help with the
I think
eye
so.
tracking stuff too. Yeah. Um, so anyway, so it all came together pretty quick after that. And then um, there's a lot of visual aids to what I was saying, which included a lot of home video footage and stuff. And everybody's always really surprised by how much home video footage I have. And that's fair. I guess it does seem like I have a home video clip for every occasion. But I think it's, because I don't know. Yeah, we probably have something like, if I had to guess, we probably have like 30 hours of home video. But I think it's more like I've cataloged it really well. So yeah,
you know what's there, so you know what to
yeah,
use, you know.
yeah,
And also that probably even seeing the footage makes
right.
the memory fresh in your mind.
Yes. And then you think to reference it in the first place, and then you have the clip. So yeah, it's like a self-fulfilling thing. So we dropped the video on this last Sunday. It was the first content we've posted in like a month, which is really unusual for us. But hopefully it was worth the wait because it was a kind of a mega video, and it performed really well. And yeah, the positive feedback was immense. I feel like I nailed what I was meaning to nail. I have thought of things I wish I had said. I was like, damn it. But I think
anything off the top of your head you wish you said?
Well, there's one thing I cut out that I actually recorded, which was this idea that I had for an app. Of like a rating your meals, rating your own meal, and rate, because I'll get into that later because I have thoughts. Maybe I shouldn't. We'll see. But yeah, I think I nailed what I meant to nail. I think the message was right. And in the future, now that I've set the table for like, all right, here's a set of philosophies on this stuff, or anybody who's been listening to the podcast knew all that stuff already, but this is the condensed version. And I think now, like if we want to do podcasts with people or more fitness content in the future, or now I've kind of like introduced the idea that John is on his own journey. And so we can talk about that in a way that's like less awkward, hopefully. So it's all cool from here. What I think I expected that there would be people out there that obviously have weight problems in this world and country, but I don't think I expected quite so much, like quite so many people to find it inspiring. In other words, like I think I expected a lot of accolades. I think I expected a lot of attaboys. Like good for you for doing that. But I underestimated how many like, oh, I'm synthesizing this through the lens of like I should really lose weight. I guess I should have expected that, but I just wasn't thinking about it all that much because I think I have a little bit of a distorted view of like, I think in some ways, even though academically I know that whatever it is, 75% of the country is obese or something, I still, the shame of it made me at times feel like I was the only fat person in the world.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. So it's cool, I guess.
But I mean, even in our own little circle, like John and I have started being healthier just because you have been doing it, basically.
Yeah, well,
so that should show that it would be a message that would do the same for the mass market.
My dad was like, early on when I was talking about stuff, my dad was like, you should write a book. And I was like, I think it's all in a half-hour video. I was like, I think there's not much to say after that. And
a 10-page script.
Yeah, exactly. There was some question, I think, of like, how much of my own story should I put in here, or is it irrelevant because people really just, the question is, how did you do it? And that's what I was a little worried that there'd be like comments about like the video starts at 12 minutes or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just felt like it needed to be the whole thing. It needed to be like, I had a relationship with fitness that I lost and regained. I think that was important.
No, it was a good context. You got to have that.
Yeah, I think so too. So crazy crazy nice. I mean, like in the spectrum of like the power of our content, if you will, this was got to be a top 5 or something. And I did have it in the back of my head. They're like, oh, it'd be cool if I had thought maybe we should have like a Reddit that's dedicated to fitness stuff, especially if John wants to join, it'd be a good thing for John. And I had thought about that before. Well, so most of the comments were like, this inspired me to do my thing, or I should really do this now, or wow, that's really good advice. I'm going to take that advice or whatever. And then 2 people in the same amount of time said, hey, what about a Discord? And we had been, the idea had been floated many times to do a Red Cow Discord, either for the general fan community, since it's not that huge, or just for the patrons. We, of course, have our internal Slack. And I'd never done it because I was like, I don't know, it's just another place for people to like chat about Red Cow. I feel like we had enough. But all of a sudden, but this fitness thing seemed like a really good like that would be a really cool evolution for the content. So I just went for it and did it. I didn't post a video about the Discord or anything. I just advertised it on Facebook and as a community post on YouTube, and like 70 fucking people showed up. And
yeah, it's pretty active.
It's been fun. Like, yeah, like one of the funniest things. So of course it's a lot of what you would expect, which is trading tips and information on keto, low impact exercise, running, people showing their walks, or, we have like a check-in sheet that's like, here's my name, my username, and here's my goals and my weigh-ins. And it's, a lot of transparency, or however much people are comfortable with that sort of thing. But it's really funny because there's a lot of fruit bowls and there's a lot of steak salads.
Yeah, well,
there's a lot of me in there.
You gotta get the nuts in. You gotta get the cheese.
It's good to borrow a template. But yeah, a lot of talking about fasting, and of course, there's like not everybody comes from it from the same angle. For me, it's like anything's valid if it works, But
Right.
I my observation is that we get like kind of tech nerds, I think, that are BoxMac fans. Like we have some birds of a feather for our content. And so I do see a lot of like gizmos and gadgets, a lot of like, how do I gamify it, or how do I add technology to it, or how do I use some food scales and macro counting and this sort of thing. Or how do I make the calorie count precise?
Hey man, you do you.
You do you. Yeah. Hey, if it works, it works. And John is like this, but I mean, John shares videos that are like, listen to this guy talk about. Yeah, I can't even like parody it. I mean, I put some of it in the video, but it's like this goes way over my head.
I can't. I don't know how much of that stuff is even true, because they just like talk as it's like John, and they talk from a position of authority, but you have no idea.
My philosophy is, and I don't want to piss in anybody's Cheerios, as the saying goes, so I try to just keep it positive. But my philosophy is like, what a reasonable meal looks like. What reasonable exercise looks like. You need to do both, and you need to do it for quite a while.
Yeah, and whatever games or whatever bow you want to put on it,
right?
That's what you do.
But the most important factor is the hardest one that's least talked about, which is, because it's fucking boring, which is you have to hunker in and do it for a while if you have a lot of weight to lose. If you're EJ, you can do these kind of sprints that are, you'll be at your goal weight soon. But if you have 100 pounds to lose, like, and it's, it's interesting, with a lot of exceptions, it seems like the average weight of the people that want to lose weight or want to tackle this thing, it's in the mid to high 200s. It's a lot of mid to high 200s. It's like, it's almost like it's like the new American weight of like, here, like the culture and the diet got us to mid to high 200s, and everybody wants to save themselves from that, because to go much higher than that is really trouble.
Yeah, that's where I was on the way to mid 200s, really. So I just wanted to stop myself. Once I get to like my goal weight and goal figure, I'll probably relax the diet, but continue exercising.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. Like, because if you continued to exercise and reintroduce some of what you used to eat, I think it'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's been going good. I mean, I'm at a plateau right now. I feel like I've been at 195 like
Mm,
forever. But what happens is you're at those plateaus, and all of a sudden you
yeah.
do it, you drop it like one day.
Nina explained the science of it to me, and it went over my head. But it's something about glycogen that your body
The Benny Hill music playing as you're listening.
yeah, exactly. But your body holds on to something and then it lets it go. It tries to get you through a starvation period is kind of the concept.
Yeah.
And then when it can't get it, it's like, oh, fuck it. And then and the pounds come off. So you have to kind of like there were times during my aggressive weight loss where 2 weeks, nothing. And
Yeah.
then just kaboom. And I think the better thing behaviorally to get through those periods is if you're confident, they're like, there's no way, like this is fucking 1,500 calories a day, like
Yeah.
and I'm exercising whatever. It's like, no, I'm not gaining weight, I'm not,
Yeah.
this isn't like,
Yeah, just hunker down. Yeah, if
hunker
you
down.
you know if you're cheating and feeling guilty,
Right.
you know it. But if you're doing the thing, if you are doing the diet, you're doing the exercise, it's gonna happen for you. You just pressure and time, as you said.
I've heard the argument of like, well, closer tracking helps keep myself accountable. I don't want to lie to myself accidentally, or I have a tendency to lie to myself, or something like that. And that's all fair. But I would actually say that if you're liable to do that, that's probably the thing to address instead
Yeah.
of like creating a system that like corrects you from yourself or something. It's like, no, you just got to get better at being honest with yourself, consistently and perpetually. But that's just my take. There's a lot of positivity there, a lot of good, dude. Like, if a year from now we can look back and go, you know what, 10 people, because of that stupid video and that stupid Discord, turn their weights around. Um, I don't know. That might be like that might be the best thing our content has ever produced is,
True.
is
Yeah.
helping people's weights. Yeah.
No,
It's a cool thing.
it was a great video. It's a very well made piece of content.
Yeah. It's not,
Tells a good story, good
it's nice.
goal.
It's nice to not have to be embarrassed by it, because I was a little afraid that I would feel embarrassed about it because it's very personal and it's about this mistake that shouldn't have happened in the first place and stuff. But I don't know. Like, yeah, I was listening to Russell Brand not too long ago. He was talking about his former drug addiction, which you often don't think, but he overcame his drug addiction before he became famous in the United States. So I think like people sometimes think of him, the Forgetting Sarah Marshall Russell Brand as the drug addicted one,
Yeah.
but no, he was a heroin addict before that. But he talks about how he feels kind of privileged to like understand addiction, to have like gone through the whole thing, come out the other side, and now understand addiction, because it helps him spot other addictive behaviors in his life. Like he's much more concerned about social media addiction than the average person, because he kind of understands or the effects of pornography on him, of like, oh,
Hmm.
I'm looking for something external that I don't, it's like he's more kind of tuned into those like bad behaviors, or behaviors that indicate that you're missing something internal. Uh,
Hmm.
and I guess I kind of feel that way about the weight loss. It wakes me up to other stuff. So it's a good thing when you can have a problem that you solve. Maybe better than not having the
Yeah.
problem in the first place.
It's yeah. It's like the way if you get proficient at something, you can kind of translate those skills to something else.
Yeah.
It's a way to. It's like you can transfer that awareness to something else.